Welcome to the Private Practice Elevation Podcast. Unlike other shows about marketing and growing a private practice, only the Private Practice Elevation Podcast takes you into the peaks and valleys of successful practice owners to give you the lessons they learned and the proven strategies that you can apply to your own private practice, helping you reach the next level in your business. I'm your host, Daniel Fava. If you've ever wondered whether investing in copywriting is actually worth it for your private practice website, this episode is going to shift how you think about your marketing. But here's the truth. A pretty website isn't the same thing as a strategic one, and just having words on a page isn't the same as connecting with the exact clients you want to work with. Today, I'm joined by Rebecca Hudson, our in-house copywriter here at Private Practice Elevation, and we're breaking down why copywriting isn't just a nice to have, it's often the missing piece between a website that looks good and one that actually converts. We're going to talk about competitive advantage, premium positioning, strategic clarity, and why generic messaging is costing therapists real opportunities. If you want your website to help strangers feel safe enough to book the room, this conversation is for you. But first, here's a word from our sponsors. A year from today, what would your dream private practice look like? Would you spend less time chasing claims or only working with clients who value your skill set? What if you had more time for yourself? Alma empowers you to confidently accept insurance backed by an all-in-one EHR that simplifies scheduling, documentation, and day-to-day practice operations. Your dream practice is closer than you think. To learn more about Alma and receive 2 free months, visit helloalma.com/elevation. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Private Practice Elevation Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. Excited to kick off another week here. If you've been listening for a while, you always know that I pretty much always record these on Mondays. So usually there's the remnants of the weekend kind of left over as I'm hopping into, recording these things. And so this weekend I am fresh off of the USA men's hockey gold medal game yesterday, which again, too, if you listen for a while, you know that I'm a big hockey fan. I'm from New York. I love the New York Rangers. That's my team through and through, which is sometimes pretty depressing because they just really haven't been so great, or they're great for a while and then they choke. So it felt really good to have a win, but man, it was just such a fun game. It was fun that it happened on a Sunday and I got to watch it in the afternoon with my family and have my 5-year-old and my 9-year-old cheering along with me and in and out. I mean, it doesn't hold their attention as much as it does for me, but man, I'm on the edge of my seat for most of the game. Very close game, and the USA team won in overtime. So it was super exciting. And it was also exciting to see that the women's hockey team and USA team won in overtime as well. So 2 gold medals for hockey. So it was a good hockey weekend. So I hope that you are having a good day as you listen to this. And this is a really special episode because I am joined with Rebecca Hudson, who is on the Private Practice Elevation team. And so she is currently our copywriter. And Rebecca, I've worked with Rebecca for a few years on many projects for our clients. And every single client that she's worked with has had just nothing but amazing words to say about working with Rebecca, and that she was just able to articulate like exactly, how I want to sound on the website, or, things I wasn't sure how to describe. She described it so well. Like she really knows this space well. She knows how to write for therapy websites. She does a phenomenal job. And so last year I realized we really need to have a copywriter who's more integrated with our team, who's more like part-time. It was kind of project by project basis with her for a while. And that was holding up things a little bit. So, I invited Rebecca, like, hey, would you want to join the PPE team part-time? And this way, we'd have a steady flow of some new projects for you. And I know you do amazing work and you're going to take care of our clients phenomenally. So Rebecca said yes, and I'm so thankful for that. So she's been on board with us for a couple months now. And I knew I had to get her on the podcast. So excited to introduce you all to Rebecca Hudson. This is actually the second time she's been on the podcast. And so I'll put the first interview with her in the show notes for this episode. But excited for you to learn about copywriting, learn about the importance of copywriting, and also, just really why invest in copywriting? Why is it so worth it? Why do I believe it's so worth it? You'll hear the answers to some of those questions. So without further ado, here is my conversation with Rebecca Hudson. All right. Well, I am super excited to have Rebecca Hudson back on the podcast. This would be your second time, right?
Yep, second time. It's been at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years since I was last on. Good to see you
Yeah.
again. I mean, I work for you now, so it's
Yeah.
fun, but
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just so excited to have you on, like, and also just to be, working more closely with you, Rebecca. And I've already let our audience know a little bit about you, and that we are offering more copywriting, and that you're part of our process now. But we've worked together for a while, and
mhm,
I always just get such great feedback from our clients from
good.
working with you. And so kudos to you, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you more closely integrated with our team, is because you do such great work. And so first of all, thank you for that.
Thank you for trusting me.
Well,
It's always such
yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to
Go
interrupt.
ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna
That's
say
okay. I
thanks.
cut you off.
It's a huge honor. It's a huge honor to be chosen to be a copywriter because what we are and the businesses and the clients that we work for, it's so much of who we are, it's so much of our life. And when someone outsources their words to you and you get to step in as a ghostwriter and a
Mhm.
content copywriter, that's a huge honor. And I always thank clients for trusting me with that
Yeah.
project because it is work that is serious and important, and I take it very seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. It shows. Well, thank you for that. Well, why don't you start with a little bit about yourself? Maybe folks haven't heard your previous episode, which we can certainly link to in our show notes. But why don't you just share a
Mhm.
little bit about your history? How did you become a copywriter for therapists and beyond?
Yeah. Can open, worms everywhere. Let's go. So I graduated in 2014 and immediately went into corporate communications and marketing, um, predominantly corporate America. I did work overseas for 3 years. So I have a really unique experience working with multicultural environments. And I think that's one of the reasons that
Yeah.
I'm able to write in a way that resonates with so many different audiences. So after doing branding and corporate comms for about 7 years, this takes us to 2021. The great exodus was
Hmm.
happening all over corporate America. And I was like,
Yeah.
why not me too? I have tricks up my sleeve. I'm very organized. I'm very driven. I have been the copywriting has always been a role. It's like even when I was in marketing and the focus was on campaign management or PR and press releases, there's always been a really strong element of copywriting. And that has always been my favorite part of the job. So when I was thinking, okay, how can I start my own business? I don't really want to just bounce around from company to company. I want to build something that's unique, and I want to do work that I'm passionate about, and I just want to focus on the favorite part
Hmm.
of the job. So I built a whole business around my favorite on the job work, which was copywriting. My background in search engine optimization and branding and marketing really comes to play in the way that I write.
Yeah.
My writing style is very persuasive but still very soft. And I specialized immediately in the mental health and wellness industry for personal and professional reasons. I had participated in therapy and had a wonderful experience. And honestly, I'm just fascinated with the world of psychology. When you go
Hmm.
about looking for a copywriter, we'll probably talk about this, Daniel, tips and what therapists can look for when they hire a professional copywriter. But there's
Yeah.
copywriters for every industry, and copywriters for tech, copywriters for finance, and you really want a copywriter who is specialized and understands the vernacular and the pain points of your industry. And psychology for
Yeah.
me is like a hobby. Like, I'm not a therapist, but I am the girl at the gym listening to the therapist books, listening to the therapist podcast. I'm entrenched in this world. So when I built a whole
Yeah.
business around it, I already had this deep subject matter expertise. And so I
Yeah.
started networking and grew my client base. That's actually how we met. We did some projects together,
Yep.
and then the synergy was right. So we kind of just merged, and that's been great.
Hmm.
Here we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. I don't actually recall. I don't remember exactly how we met, like
I
when it
believe
all
Lisa
started. I mean, I know that.
Mustard connected us.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, copywriting has always been one of the to me, I think it's really the most important part of a website redesign project. And
100%.
there's so many people, yeah, and there's so many people who go without it. And to be honest, when I'm, having those initial conversations with a potential client and they don't want to do copywriting, there's like a little piece of my heart gets a little broken, because I think it sets them up for like such great success. I know
Yeah.
we'll talk more about that.
It's like
Um,
cake without the icing.
so right, yeah, and so when we first met, I was always looking for a great copywriter who can do, great work, in this niche, and so, was excited when we started working together and, we did a number of projects and now here you are, on our
Mhm.
team, so super excited about that.
Me too.
All right. Well, so kind of the big question we're answering, kind of goes into what I just mentioned is
Mhm.
why would I need copywriting? I got that question even just like last month when again
Mhm.
talking to somebody, they want to redesign their website. They've got a website that's not doing anything for them, but
Mhm.
they were planning to just use the same content, the same words that were there. And her question was,
Mhm.
"What is copyright?
No.
Why would I need copywriting?" So,
Yeah.
how do we start answering that question?
Ah, that's like my favorite question. So let's go. So I do get this question a lot because before we merged, I was basically doing this myself. I was out networking. I was going to all the association gatherings and talking with therapists on a regular basis. And I got this question all the time. And there's so many
Mhm.
answers for that. And I've got a really good one for you. But before I give you my short and sweet power punch of an answer, what I honestly like to do is just very gently reframe the question. So, what if I were to
Mhm.
ask you, the therapist? I'm pretending you're a therapist right now, Daniel. What if I were to ask
Okay,
you,
my wife is,
hey,
but I can
okay,
pretend.
why would I need a therapist? That's the reframe.
Mm,
What reason do I have to
yeah,
invest 150, sometimes $250 to talk with a therapist for a 45-minute clinical hour? Like, why would I do that as a
yeah.
fully functioning, high achieving adult? And most
Mm,
therapists would say some version of, well, therapy is a wise investment because functioning isn't the same as being free. And Daniel, they would be completely
mm,
correct. So if we apply that now to copywriting, success is not the same as internal peace in the same way that having a pretty website and a mildly active Instagram account is not a growth strategy. The fact is that therapy
right.
and marketing are two completely different skill sets. They're two completely different professions, and we need each other. So I like to put it this way
Yeah.
because I always love a good analogy and I always love a good reframe. So think of it like this: a therapist helps people feel safe in the room, a copywriter helps strangers feel safe enough to book the room.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
I've
a good
got two
analogy. All
more.
right, I guess we're done.
Well, no,
Okay,
we're gonna we're gonna
keep going.
expand and clarify. So a therapist helps people heal and grow. A copywriter helps strangers feel so seen that they're ready to step into healing and growth.
Mm,
So that, in case that didn't
I like
resonate
that.
with everyone, I've got one more. A therapist helps people regulate their nervous systems, but a good copywriter, helps dissolve the decision fatigue barrier so that overwhelmed nervous systems can move towards support more easily.
Mm, that's good.
Yeah. I
I
love
love the
this way of
analogies.
reframing. I know, right? Whenever we
Yeah,
gently reframe things, it's powerful because when confusion gets clarified with supportive language, that impacts everything. And therapists know that. That's one of the
yeah,
huge that's the huge reason for therapy is we have this confusing pain. We take it to a psychological expert. They help us clarify that and name that pain, understand that pain, work through that pain. That's copywriting. But I'm applying
yeah.
that psychological perspective to your entire business hook. That is powerful when it's done
Right.
correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that too, like just kind of thinking through this, I'm thinking through the different examples of websites that we've seen or clients, websites we've redesigned. And they typically come to us. And when you look at the words on the website,
Mhm.
it's just informational. It's
Yeah.
not like you're saying, it's not creating safe space. It's not removing barrier to entry. It's not connecting with people.
It's not
And
driving
that's
conversions
hard.
at all.
eh, Right. Yeah. And that is hard to do. I mean, I've done
Mhm.
marketing for my own business for years and years, and I don't like copywriting. It's hard. It's very hard.
I love copywriting. I mean, I feel like I was born to do this work. But
Yeah.
Daniel, I was thinking like let's say people want let's say we've got some type A therapists listening and they want, okay, give me the top 5 reasons why I should like, okay, you've got my attention, but like seriously, do I really need it? Like I love to talk to those
Hmm.
folks and I've got 5 reasons why I think copywriting's worth a really good investment. If it's okay with you, I'd love to
Hmm.
take them one by one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hmm.
So I think the first big reason why I believe it's really worth therapists to invest in copywriting is because there's a huge competitive advantage to it. The idea here is that preference wins. So competition is super fierce. And the moment of conversion all comes down to preference. Who does the prospective client prefer and what is that preference based on? It's
Hmm.
it's actually really simple. Preference is formed when someone feels this person thinks like me or this resonates. I want to think more like them. So the strategy with copywriting is to build trust, then capture preference. And simply just resonating and being genuine and authentic, good copy can do that for you. But if you're just copying and pasting your LinkedIn information on your website or just providing very generic, friendly, but let's be honest, ambiguous words on your website, like that's not going to convert anybody. It's just not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and this too, I think, goes into a little bit, or a lot of it, with AI and SEO, and like, there's more. What am I trying to say here? Like, you can't have just those generic words on the website
Hmm.
any longer. It's not just information. It's really about that connection piece and really like connecting with those ideal clients, which takes research. It takes understanding the challenges and the pain points, and that goes back to what you said earlier, like working with somebody who's very familiar with this landscape and with
Hmm.
this niche is super important.
Yeah. I mean, 15, 20 years ago, you could have a nice looking website and call it a day. And that would give you enough credibility to be
Yeah.
successful. But not anymore. This is the age of technology. This is the age of information. You're dealing with a consumer base that is more intelligent and more informed than ever before in history. So if you're not
Yeah.
clearly and succinctly spelling out your service offering in a way that speaks directly to that target audience, you're going to lose out on business, especially in US markets. I've worked with some people
Mm.
who say, I just want to give just enough information so that they're enticed to call me. They don't want to give out the secret sauce. They want to be very discreet
Hmm.
with their information. Like that worked maybe 15 years ago. That is not where we are anymore. If
Yeah.
someone needs to call you so that you can explain your service offering better, then your content isn't working for you and your funnel is broken and you're going to lose that business to someone who was more thorough with their copywriting.
Yep. Amen.
Thanks, Daniel.
Well, what's what's the next reason why someone should invest in copyright? We talked about the competitive advantage. What's the next
Yes.
one you got for us?
The next one is professional positioning because opportunities follow perception. So think of the professional clinician who wants to present themselves online because they want to get speaking opportunities. They want media interviews. They want partnerships. Professional clinicians who present themselves online are way more likely to secure these opportunities simply because they're already in position for them. So if you dream of kind of branching out beyond your clinical work, branching out beyond session work, then that's called branding. And these
Mm.
lucrative opportunities, they're only going to select the best of the best who present themselves well online. If you don't have a strong, well branded online presence, you're simply not as competitive as other potential candidates.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see this a lot too with folks who are really building those private pay practices
Hmm.
with higher fees, higher rates that they're trying to charge. And, their website just really isn't cutting it. There's no
Oh.
professionalism.
Hmm.
And if you're wanting somebody to spend, $200 plus per session, but your website looks like, maybe you're still on the free version of Wix, that's not going to match up, and that's likely not going to convert folks too well.
I'm laughing because that's literally my third point here. So my third point was premium
Okay.
alignment. Your marketing needs to match your
Okay.
pricing. Simple as that. Premium services
Yeah.
deserve premium positioning. If you're charging premium price points, your marketing needs to reflect that. So I love to use a fashion analogy here. So a bare bones website is like showing up underdressed to a very important, emotionally charged, highly sensitive conversation. A generic professional website with
Mm.
half decent copy, that's like wearing a stiff, ill fitting suit to an important occasion where you'd really like to look and feel your best. Now, good copywriting is custom tailored. It's structured but soft. It fits you perfectly. It shows off all your best features, and you're always going to be perfectly dressed for that occasion. The first time your clients are going to interact with you, the first time they're going to have any exposure to you and your brand, it's going to be online. And you need your prospective clients to come to your website and think, this person gets me. I will feel comfortable, safe, seen, and heard with them. And that's powerful. This is powerful because it provides your prospective clients with the opportunity to connect with you before you even meet them. So, from a retention
Yeah.
strategy standpoint, it's a non negotiable. Of course, I'm a little bit biased, but I've seen this play out over and over
Hmm.
again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that too, like when you're creating those, those connections, there's also another layer to this too that
Mm-hmm.
that we see happening when it comes to AI. Like people are treating AI
Mm-hmm.
like their friends. So when AI
Yeah.
recommends your website, like, oh, this person gets me,
Mm-hmm.
AI gets me, and they're recommending me to this website, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's that copy that like, oh, this person really gets me. Like that is in a way, those are two referrals for the same therapist or private practice. Like, for lack of a better term, the person already has this connection in place. They're so much more likely to convert, and we're
Mm-hmm.
seeing that a lot, a lot. But I love the analogies. Just keep them coming.
Yeah, on it. So what you just said is a beautiful reiteration of what I said earlier, which is the moment of conversion all comes down to preference these days. If you are not
Hmm.
connecting with someone on a personality level, the conversion isn't going to happen. So point number
Right.
4 that I have, wonderful reason to invest in professional copywriting is honestly strategic clarity. You cannot convert what you cannot articulate. So what that means is I speak with these therapists and they're extremely well educated. They have hearts of gold. They're so well experienced, but they have trouble articulating their strategic hook. And I can't tell you how many times I have been on a project kickoff call and I'll ask a question and the therapist will say, "That's a really good question." And then there's this silence and I let it breathe. So it's like they need a moment to think about their answer because they've never actually articulated their profession with tangible, accessible, SEO friendly words before. And honestly, that's where my heavy
Yeah.
marketing background comes in. I help them figure it out. I help them take this big, ambiguous, highly technical, clinical hook. And I'm like, here's how we make this relatable. Here's how we make this search engine friendly. And it's really clarifying. And the marketing truth behind that clarity is that clarity is really profitable.
Hmm. Yeah, because you're keeping people from wondering what it is that you do, and is this person a good fit for the challenges I'm facing?
Yeah.
It takes out all that guessing, and I think people don't realize how much business is lost when someone just lands on a website and they don't know exactly, is this for me? Like, what does this person do?
Mhm.
Why is there a quote at the top of the website? Is this therapy? I
Mhm.
don't know.
Yeah. And like let's be honest, I'm speaking from personal experience and also just I know this market. Um Millennials, Gen X, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, these generations that we're marketing to right now, again, they're informed, they're very highly information driven. So before they're finding you as a
Yeah.
therapist, they've got 100 tabs open. They're reading 50 different therapy bios. They're considering you against 45,
Yeah.
50 other therapists. And if the competition is really fierce. And so if you do not stand out, if you do not resonate, if you do not make a wonderful first impression, which again, that first impression happens on your website, if you're not articulating, you're not going to be converting. So, um,
Yeah.
copywriting is a great way for therapists to stand out amongst the competition and let that moment of conversion be strong.
Yep, absolutely. And you said you have 5 reasons
I
to invest.
do.
What's the last one?
The last one is relief and momentum. So, outsourcing this free therapist to be therapists. I know so many therapists who are like, I went to school to help people and to heal minds, and I am working on my website at 11 p.m. at night. I'm exhausted. I really
Yeah,
don't know what I'm doing. I think I'm posting every day on like they don't go to school for business and marketing. They
yeah.
go to school for psychology. So this is a skill set. I went to school for this. I've been doing this. This is my whole
Mhm.
career. This is what I'm entrenched with. So this is my very polite, fancy way of saying just hire a copywriter. You will breathe so much better. You will sleep better at night. And honestly, it's really, really fun. With my kickoff calls with clients, it's a very satisfying call. They're like, okay, they've got this clarity now, and I do know what I'm doing with that. So when they get their copy, when I deliver the project to them, honestly, my favorite part of the whole project and the work that I do is when they see the delivered project and they're like, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, this is me. I sound amazing. And you didn't even lie once. Like this is what I actually do. I totally do
Yeah.
this. I didn't realize how amazing I could sound. And it's so fun to get that
Mhm.
reaction because I'm like, yes, you are amazing. And no, I didn't lie once. This is what you do. This is how you do it. This is who you do it for. And to like see that come to life in a way that's honest, authentic, and persuasive and powerful, it is like a rush. So if you're looking to breathe fresh life into your practice, if you just feel like things are stale, because let's be honest, the world of therapy, it's kind of lost some of that retro glamour that used to be associated with it. It used to be seen as this highly lucrative, wonderfully glamorous industry. And I think a lot of therapists are struggling to find their groove. They're just feeling
Yeah.
kind of discouraged and burnt out. And so when you hire an expert to come alongside and do this heavy lifting for you, you feel such a sense of relief and empowerment and confidence because you know now you have complete, authentic assurance that your copy is working for you and that when people come to your website,
Yeah.
you're not going to get urgent bookings. You're going to get aligned opportunities. And when that energy shift happens, it really transforms your business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, too, for myself, speaking, as a business owner, like whenever I can hire someone who's an expert, there's just so much peace that comes with that. And like you say,
Hmm.
like that relief just kind of happens.
Hmm.
As long as you find the right person to work with,
Yeah.
obviously, sometimes that can be a challenge. But, when you're working with someone who is aligned with the goals that you are going
Hmm.
after and they're able to kind of carry out that vision, you can just sleep good at night, like knowing this person has it and they're going to do a job that is 10, 20, 30 times better than I can do, which is
Yeah.
just so wonderful.
100%. And when you think about strategic objectives and things you can do to shift the needle, really make things work. When you think about the big things, you want to invest in tactics that are going to do double duty. If you post one social media post, it's going to expire within 24 hours, and then you've got to come up with another one, right? When you invest in quality content for your website, that's way more evergreen. Not only does it help you present yourself well, not only does it help you position yourself for brand opportunities. Not only does it help drive conversions, not only does it help you with a long term retention strategy, but the way you show up, the confidence that you show up, your clients are going to feel that. It's amazing what a
Yeah.
good, well tailored outfit can do for confidence. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope that anyone listening just really, is getting that the copywriting is super important and well worth the investment. That clearly shows with what we're talking about. But there might be some people who are just like, I don't really know where to begin with this whole
Mm.
copywriting thing, or it still seems a little like confusing. I'm curious just to hear your thoughts. Like, what are some of the misconceptions that people have about copywriting?
Ooh, misconceptions. First and foremost, that it's easy and anyone can do it. That's not true at all. Copywriting, I mean,
Yeah.
good copywriting, this is an art and a science. So
Mhm.
where I see a lot of people get really discouraged and frustrated with their copywriting is, this is going to sound harsh, but I'm just going to say it. They hire someone who isn't qualified enough. They just don't. So,
Mhm.
I'm a copywriter and I do have that technical skill and I do have that passion. But the thing about writers
Yeah.
is they can be a very romantic bunch and they love to articulate emotions with words. And so if you think, oh, I'm looking for a passionate freelance copywriter, like not good enough, because sometimes that passion
Yeah.
doesn't translate into technical skill. That you really
Yeah.
want to find a copywriter who's multifunctional. You want someone who can rein in their passion for verbalizing emotions and match it with a deep understanding of persuasive sales language that's not too pushy. You want to have a gentle marketing
Hmm.
touch, but you also want to have a deep understanding of calls to action, soft sells, and you also want to have a strong background with search engine optimization, which is now, SEO is now AIO. So you need someone who
Hmm.
understands the industry, but then has this technical background and isn't just a really great writer. Because there's a lot of really great writers who, I mean, their poetry is beautiful, but they cannot write an about page to save their lives. They just can't. So you need to
Right.
find a
Right.
writer who really marries both worlds between the art and the science. It really is a perfect balance. It's creative work, but it's also highly logical work. And you need to be able to use both sides of your brain and have a very project focused perspective on it. So I'm very type A with my copywriting. I don't just get carried away with the emotional romanticism of writing. I really think, what is the objective? What am I trying to get the reader to do? What is the moment of conversion? How do I drive that? How am I
Yeah.
structuring this? How do I incorporate keywords organically and naturally? How do I need to structure the subheader so that this captures AIO? There's a lot that goes into this. It's not just, you can't just find someone who's good with words and hope for the best. You want someone who's professional, who's multifunctional, who's focused on your industry, who has copywriting adjacent skills like marketing or sales. And you need someone who's professional, who's organized, and who's very polished and succinct. That's incredibly important.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just listening to you talk and I'm thinking like so many people are going to pause and rewind this, especially if they're like looking for a copywriter. You're like, what
Mm-hmm.
are the key questions I'm going to ask? And I think that that's kind of maybe a good place to kind of like land this plane is like if
Mm-hmm.
you're looking to hire somebody,
Mm-hmm.
get together a list of great questions to really gauge their experience in this niche, experience with website copy, obviously. How do they
Mm-hmm.
approach SEO and AIO given the changes in the landscape? And obviously examples of their writing. I
Mm-hmm.
think you'd really want to see
Mm-hmm.
see work by a potential copywriter, they've done in this space before.
Yes. So to be clear, you're asking me, what questions can therapists ask copywriters to find someone? What was the
I wasn't really asking. Yeah, I wasn't really asking a question. It was more like verbally processing like what you're saying. But yeah, like some of those key questions that you'd want to ask somebody
Yeah, I
when you're
would ask
interviewing
them
them. And I don't know
for sure.
if more come to mind for you.
hmm So keep in mind that therapists and marketing professionals kind of function like therapists. If you're lucky, you might get a
Hmm.
15 to 20-minute discovery call, which is not the same as a therapy session. So don't expect us to do heavy lifting there. We're going to keep things high level. So,
Hmm.
don't grill us about our expertise for an hour and pay us nothing. We are professionals. And so, we structure our practice very similar to the way that therapists structure theirs. But I think it's completely fair to request examples. Copywriting is involved with the world of ghostwriting. So having an understanding that copywriters may honestly not legally be able to share their work. I get asked for samples
Hmm.
of my work. Like I know, Daniel, you asked me for samples of my work, and I had
Yeah.
to, I was limited to what I could give you because when people
Right.
hire a copywriter, they're essentially hiring a ghostwriter. And that means I can't just
Hmm.
announce who my clients are because the nature of the business is very discreet and professional. So definitely ask
Yeah.
for examples from the copywriter, but realize that legally they may not be able to say, hey, I wrote this because it's under a different copyright. Once you
Right.
hand over that content, it legally belongs to the purchaser. So it's something to keep in mind, but
Hmm.
definitely ask them. Hopefully they have some work online somewhere that they're able to point to and say, yep, I did that. But ask them what their background is besides copywriting. So like if someone were to ask me that question, I would say, oh, I did 7 years marketing, branding, and communications for corporate America. I'm very well
Hmm.
experienced working in multicultural environments and having to write press releases, newsletters, and articles for a wide variety of audiences. So that's something I would say. But you also want to ask them, what's your turnaround time? How many revisions do you get? Just ask the logistic questions. Ask them, how do they incorporate SEO best practices? Ask them how they incorporate the new changes going on with AI search results, and ask them how that will be reflected, how they incorporate that knowledge into the content. I think those are great questions to start with. But honestly, this is going to sound so mushy gushy. Focus on the energy. Like, see if you, because when you hire a copywriter, you're basically saying, hey, be my voice. Right. And so there needs to be an energetic alignment. And that's more of a soft skill, not so much of a hard skill, but you want to find a copywriter who gets you. If they don't get you, they're going to have a hard time writing for you, right? So find someone that you like to work with, who's professional and organized, and that there's enough of a connection that you can figure out what needs to be sorted, and then that writer can get to work and write on your behalf.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. And that's kind of just a good segue into, just the work that we are doing together. Like I mentioned, you're a part of our team now, and we're so excited to have you on. And so if anyone's listening to this and they're curious about getting started, going down this road with Rebecca, we'd love to get you all connected. And so we have, and actually Rebecca wrote the copy for this service landing page on our website for copywriting.
No one
so
is shocked.
if you're curious,
I wrote that. You can go there.
And that was a perfect example of, like, I'm so glad she's on board, because now she can write this content, because you saw my first draft, Rebecca. It was terrible. Anyway, we'll put the link in the show notes for this episode. But yeah, I just feel like you're doing such great work, Rebecca. And I feel like so many of our clients are getting such clarity when they come to those kickoff calls, where they can just, kind of verbally vomit what they do, how they approach it. And you just take all of those pieces and you put it together, so beautifully. So hopefully we get some folks connected with you, but happy to have you on board. And thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate your time and energy as well. And whoever's listening, I look forward to meeting with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Private Practice Elevation podcast. I hope it was super helpful for you. And I just want to reiterate just how important copywriting is for a website, and really how that website converts, because websites, that's how you communicate. Those words on that page, that's how you communicate. If you're not connecting on a deep level with those ideal clients, then the website's just not going to work as well as you want. And, that copywriting really sets the stage for everything that comes after with your marketing. So as I said in my interview, I think copywriting is just one of the most important parts of a website. Anytime someone is starting with copywriting with us, I'm super excited, because it really sets the tone for the rest of the marketing. So if you are curious about working with us for copywriting, or whether you want to redesign your website or just reach more of your ideal client with SEO, we would love to help you out. You can visit our website if you especially want to learn about copywriting. We have just put new information on our website related to that service, and you can go to our website at privatepracticeelevation.com and go under what we do and learn a little bit more about that service. Or if you just want to connect, ask a few questions, see if we're a good fit, you can go to privatepracticeelevation.com/kickoff and schedule a free 15-minute call. Appreciate you listening. Now go elevate your practice. I'd like to thank Alma for sponsoring this episode of the Private Practice Elevation podcast. A year from today, what would your dream private practice look like? Would you spend less time chasing claims, or only working with clients who value your skill set? What if you had a network to reach out to for questions or free continuing education? What if you had more time for yourself? Alma empowers you to confidently accept insurance, backed by an all-in-one EHR that simplifies scheduling, documentation, and day-to-day practice operations. With a network of engaged providers and free CE resources, Alma makes it easy for you to build the practice of your dreams on your terms. Alma believes that when therapists get the support they need, mental health care gets better for everyone. Learn more about Alma at helloalma.com/elevation. Your dream practice is closer than you think. Get started now and receive 2 free months at helloalma.com/elevation.